Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Shaw Bernard here. Thank you for joining me again. It's time to get into some pop talk. As you know, it's award season. Everyone's hitting the red carpet in their finest threads, looking fabulous. I'm here for the fashion. They're giving me face, they're giving me body. I am loving it. The Image Awards were a few weekends ago, and there was actually a non-televised version, a non-televised awards dinner for the Image Awards that was hosted by the women of The Real, who I love. I genuinely love Lonnie, Jeannie, Adrian, and Tamara. They do a fantastic job over there at The Real, and they bring great diversity, which is definitely something that we're campaigning for now, and it's totally necessary. They also won for Outstanding Talk Series, so congratulations to them. And they were renewed for 2 more seasons, so yay! I genuinely enjoy watching them here in New York at 11 a.m. with my son. He dances to the music. This is our time. And then he he thoroughly enjoys it. But I do just have a little note, just a quick note, in case you're ever watching, here's what I gotta say. Those games that you guys play are really fun. Shoutrageous and Fake It or Take It. All these really cool games that you guys play. Really, really enjoy it. But when people don't win, you give them those t-shirts. And I don't think you should do that anymore. I mean, now you've been renewed for 2 seasons. You're kind of really making your way in the game. You're winning awards. People are recognizing you. You've got a great fan following. And so I feel like the least you can do is just give it to them. Even if they don't win. I mean, come on, give it to them. What are you guys gonna do with this stuff? Take it for yourself? These are your fans. They come to support you, to watch your show. So give it to them. I really would prefer that you guys didn't give them the t-shirts at all. Like, let's say they didn't win, that you gave them nothing and say, oh, thank you for playing. Bye. Rather than give them that ding real t-shirt that you guys give to them. That's just a little note that I have. The other award show that took place last weekend was the SAG Awards. And can you imagine in 2018, we're still having the first black XYZ? And that's Sterling K. Brown. He won in the category of Best Male Actor in a TV series. Go Sterling K. Brown. He also won at the Golden Globes, and I think he won an Image Award too, so he's just rocking up. He was super, super emotional. I just love him and his wife as a couple. They're really, really beautiful. Black love all the way. Speaking of awards, congratulations to Kanye and Kim. They welcomed their 3rd child, Chicago West. This is their 2nd daughter. They had her via surrogate. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but Kim has, ooh, excuse me. I've been sick, guys. Seriously, I'm so excited to get back to you and just give you all my pop talk, because if you're following me on other social media platforms, which you should be at Shaw Bernard TV across the board, you'll know that I broke my toe. Yeah, I broke my toe, and that was just not fun. I'm supposed to be off my feet for 6 weeks, but the way life works when you have a husband, a toddler, a personal brand that you're building, and a business that's already been running for the last 5 years, you can't do that. So 6 weeks, no ma'am. I have not been doing that. They gave me this ugly boot. When you break stuff, they put a cast on, or they give you a boot. And I have not been wearing that either. The toe has been feeling better. So, yeah, I've just been working and moving, because that's what moms do. But back to Kim and Kanye, Kim actually has a really terrible condition that she gets when she's pregnant, and so it's actually a very risky deal for her to be pregnant. But they did want to expand their family, so they had the baby via surrogate, and they only paid her $45,000. Now I know you're saying only, right? Because $45,000 for just 1 gig is a lot, but that's 9 months. That's morning sickness. First, second trimester, your body's growing. Lots of things happen, right? And then you've got to consider the delivery and all that stuff. And I think surrogates probably consider that even before they take the job. But I just feel like it's Kim and Kanye. They could have given a little bit more, but hey, they didn't, and she accepted the $45,000, and here we are. 3rd child, healthy baby, and her name is Chicago. Kanye is from Chicago, and They're obviously going to be calling her Shy West. You know what? Honestly, when I first heard the name, I was like, Chicago? But it seems fitting. That's where he's from, you know, and they're eccentric and they like to give their kids really interesting names like North and Saint, and now they have Chicago. Listen, celebrities are entitled to do whatever they want to do. I mean, people are entitled to do what they want to do in general with their children and give them the names that they want to. I think I named my baby a pretty fabulous name. I'm not going to share that with you guys right now because I'm gonna need to trademark it because it's so good. It's such a good name that I don't want to tell y'all yet because y'all steal. But celebrities can name their kids really wild things because hey, the reality is if they really manage their money properly, their children are never gonna have to apply for jobs. They're kind of continue the family business and be in entertainment and all that good stuff. So you know what, for this line of work, if that's what they plan to do for the rest of their lives, names like Chicago would work. But I don't know if it would work if you were going to be applying for a 9-to-5. They would not even would they put your resume at the bottom of the pile. They would just get rid of it, child. Like nobody is calling you for a job if your name was Chicago West. But with parents like Kim and Kanye, yeah, you know, celebrities, they name their kids after cities, after states, after fruits and vegetables. Have at it. You know, we can't tell them what to do. So here's a funny story. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day and she was saying to me, girl, I'm about to go into H&M to get something for my husband to wear to this event we're going to. I said, you're going where? She was like, I'm going into H&M. I said, you better not go in there. And she was so confused, bless her heart. She was like, what's going on? And I'm like, are you kidding me? You have no idea what's going on? Like, did you not hear about the H&M debacle? And she was like, no, tell me. So, you know, I have a place in the world, right? Like, people really need me to be giving you this information because they don't know what's going on. So I said to her, I'm like, girl, they had this whole situation with the coolest monkey in the jungle, blah, 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 blah. I told her the whole story. She was like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna go in there anymore. But it got me to thinking, like, how long should we really be boycotting them? And I was like, indefinitely. You know what? When you hit people in the pockets, that's when it really hurts them. And I think that they need to take a big hit, punch in the gut, so that they and other people will take note not to do this again. And in the meantime, if you're looking for affordable fashion, maybe you want to go to Forever 21, or maybe you just want to get your coins together, save up, and invest in Black businesses so that you can elevate them to the level of H&M status like I talked about in my last video. You should have watched it. If you hadn't done so, please do it, and also subscribe because then you'll be up to date with all the things that I'm doing. And again, follow me on all social media platforms because I share different things between my Instagram and my Facebook and with you here on YouTube. So anyway, but then, you know, there's like every 5 seconds we gotta boycott something. And here we go now with Monique and Netflix. She wants us to boycott Netflix because they lowballed her with that $500,000 that they offered her, child, to do this series. Okay, so disclaimer, technically I already boycott Netflix because I don't have an account. Now, I watch stuff on there. I just don't pay for it. I watch it on my friend's account. And yeah, I've always boycotted Netflix. In fact, I've never paid for any subscriptions with them. I always did the 30-day free trial. And when that 30-day was up, boom. Hi, yeah, I'd like to cancel. Yeah, so they never got my $8.99, and maybe a lot of y'all are like me too, where you by default you boycott them because you don't have an account, but you're watching off the strength of other people who pay for it. But you know, it's a really touchy situation right now with Netflix and her, and basically what she's saying is that they came to her with an offer to do a special for $500,000, and so she feels like it's disrespectful. It's a total lowball because she is the most decorated comedian alive. Now that's debatable, right? She does have an Oscar, and I honestly don't know of any of the other awards that she has acquired. But there are other comedians still living, like Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy, and I mean, like, other people are alive still that have done significant things too. So greatest, most decorated, arguable, right? But you know, she does feel like Dave Chappelle is getting $20 million per series, per episode, right? And Amy Schumer negotiated an $11.5 billion deal. So she feels like I am the original queen of comedy, and you guys are only going to give me $500,000. And so, you know, of course it's a back and forth, there's negotiations. She's talking with the VP in charge of the comedy department over there at Netflix, and you know, he's saying to her, so she presented her resume, and in fact she stated that they considered her to be a legend, almost on the same platform as like a Dave and a Chris Rock, but not like financially worthy, essentially. And so she was just like, look, you know, I've done this, I've done that, I've done the other. And so according to the gentleman over there at Netflix, they don't base their offerings on people's resumes. It's really based on return on investment. So then I had to consult my husband, who's a finance guy. And so I was like, honey, you know, I listened to the whole interview with her, on Sway in the Morning, and I was just so captivated, and I felt a lot of different emotions as she was talking through it. But I wanted to have this discussion with my husband simply because he comes from a financial background, and so I like to talk money with him, and so I was like, yeah, were you listening to this interview? Did you hear about Monique? Did you heard what Netflix is doing to her? And he was like, who's Monique? Oh God, I couldn't even build a solid case. I was like, come on. And so I had to explain to him. I was like, you know Monique. And he was like, oh, where's she been at? Oh gosh. You know, I'm like, dude, seriously? So, you know, and so then I said to him, I'm like, you know, well, they offered her $500,000 and she felt like it's too low. And he was just like, she hasn't been doing anything. $500,000 is a lot for somebody who's been off the scene. And I was like, okay, all right, you know, and I'm listening to him because from a financial standpoint, and the truth of the matter is this is business, right? So when you think of it from a business perspective, yes, return on investment, they don't feel like she will pull a large crowd that is worthy of giving her anything more significant. I kind of beg to differ. That's just my personal opinion. I love her, and I know that she's been blacklisted as per all of the things that we've heard, you know, pertaining to this whole war that she's in with Oprah, Tyler, Lee Daniels, and Lionsgate, you know, and it's been ongoing. In the interview, she actually said that that Tyler Perry apologized to her, and he said that he was wrong, but she feels like he's just saying that between her and him, and so no one else knows that. Of course we know that not because she told us, but he hasn't publicly come out and talked about it. And she had some really harsh things to say where Oprah's concerned. I'm not going to get into all of that right now because it's just, you know, a lot, but yeah, she's really speaking out. And so yes, I understand the financial aspect of it, like it's business, you know, and so hey, take it or leave it. And she left it because she feels like she's worth more. And on the other token, when she talks about it being racism and sexism, and then Wanda Sykes comes in and says, well, girl, they offered you $500,000, but they offered me less than half of that. So then I went back to my husband and I was like, well, look, she might have a point. Look at what they offered to Wanda Sykes. He was like, who's that? Okay, you know, like, and a lot of people feel this way. And I was looking at lots of comments online, and people just really feel like, girl, take the money and build yourself back up. People already consider you to be hard to work with, and you know, all this and all that. But you know what? There's somebody else that we hear that's like not nice and very demanding and kind of a diva. That's Naomi Campbell, who I love, but she's so good at what she does that people still work with her. So I feel like, why can't Monique have that same kind of repertoire? Like, yeah, you throw phones at people's faces and you know, you command all what you want, but you're so good at what you do that we still want you. And I feel like we can have the same kind of view when it comes to Monique. Maybe that's just me. Everybody else is feeling like, no, you go against Oprah, your life is over, right? And that's kind of what's been happening with her. But, you know, I do feel like, hey, she believes that she's worth more than $500,000. And yes, my husband said, and many other people have said, hey, you know, take it, rebuild. And Monique is saying, you know, the other reason I'm not taking this $500,000 is because what are people behind me gonna get? Like a Tiffany Haddish, like a Leslie Jones. And as per my husband, Tiffany Haddish would get more money than her. Like they would offer her more than $500,000. And I'm like, dang it, Monique, he's just not rooting for you. Like you can't win when it comes to him. But and a lot of people feel that way. I don't know. But I do believe in essence that if you feel like you're worth something, because we do that as a people, especially people of color, we tend to downplay ourselves, not know our value, not know our worth, and so we lowball ourselves, and then people just give us whatever. So kudos to her for, you know, standing for what she believes in. And y'all are already boycotting Netflix, so continue to do so. But if you do have an account and you stand with Monique, maybe you want to get rid of it, I don't know, and then just go bomb off of somebody else's account, and then hey, you're boycotted. Okay, so we're boycotting H&M, we're boycotting Netflix, and we were just going to boycott everything in 2018. I feel like 2018 is just like the year of boycotts. And, you know, the other thing that's just not going away as far as boycotting is concerned is the whole sexual harassment situation. And every day it seems like another man is being added to the list. And one of the people that's newly added to this list is Aziz Ansari. He is, you know, the creator and actor in Master of None. And so recently he was accused when he won the Golden Globe, actually, a few weeks ago, he won a Golden Globe. So this young lady came out and said that she had a terrible date with him. They met at a party about a year ago, and, you know, they kind of exchanged some flirting, and then they exchanged numbers, and then they talked for a little bit, and he took her out on a date, and then they ended back up at his apartment, excuse me. And I read the article. It was very provocative, so a lot of the details I'm really not going to share because I just don't do provocative. In Aziz Ansari's defense, people are saying like, this is a bad date. This was a bad date, and she's trying to minimize the real cause of the whole Time's Up movement, because he wore a Time's Up button or pin to the award show, to the Golden Globes a few weeks ago. And so she's saying, well, you violated me, how dare you wear this button on the carpet. So again, people are saying like, this is a bad day, this date went wrong, and she's just trying to bandwagon on the whole Me Too Time's Up movement. Okay, so I'm gonna say a few things, and hear me out, guys, because first of all, let me say I am 100%, maybe 150% on board with the Me Too Time's Up movement. I stand with the women. I think that the egregious acts are just unacceptable on every level. Like, no man should feel like they can take advantage of a woman, you know, just be like lord their power over women so that they can make them feel inferior to get whatever they want, right? But and I'm gonna go there and give me your feedback, because I really want us to have an open dialogue about this. And here's where I'm going with this is, so yes, we're talking to the men. We're saying no more, time is up, you can no longer. Yes, I agree with that 150%. But what's the message that we're sending to the women? Because I feel like it's a little one-sided. We're saying, do not allow a man to take advantage of you. Accurate, 100%. But are we saying to our sisters, don't put yourself in compromising positions? And as I say that, I know you guys are going to come at me and say, you know, how could you say something like that? It's very reminiscent of saying to a woman, if you're dressed sexily, then it gives a man the privilege to feel like he can want to rape you. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, we need to talk to the woman to woman, and say, don't put yourself in those compromising situations. Because here's the thing, and I'm not talking about this as an outsider. Guys, I've been in the fashion industry for like 15 years. I started modeling when I was like 14. Okay, so I'm not talking about this like I've never been in this world, I don't know what's going on. In fact, one of the men on the list, I'm not going to tell you who he is, but what I will say is I could have been a victim, honestly. Like, if I didn't assess the situations from a you know, like, yeah, if I didn't assess the situations appropriately, I probably could have been one of the women coming out to say something like that. So again, I'm not saying that I agree with anything that the men are doing, because I know firsthand someone on that list, and I know that it could have went south really fast. But what I am saying is, we need to be sharing the message with our sisters and our brothers, because men are being violated as well. Like this young lady who went on a date with Aziz Ansari. It's your first time going on a date with him. Now, I know people are free to live their life and do whatever, and I'm not judging at all. Trust me when I tell you, this is a no judgment zone. I'm just simply sharing tales of precaution. And I'm saying, on your first date, and you've got to listen to your intuition. You've got to trust your gut, because she sensed something was a little off. According to the article that I read, she felt like, you know, as soon as they finished eating, he asked for the check and they were out of there. If you feel that in your spirit, why did you go back to his place? Why did you go back to his place? Because the truth, the honest truth, I feel like, and I don't understand dating culture right now in 2018. I've been married for almost 8 years, so I'm out of the game. That's like not my world. I don't know how it works, right? And back in 2010 when I met my husband, things were a little slower. I mean, you know, things happen and time progresses, but back then it was a little different. And so I think now the way people date, you know, people are free to do whatever with their bodies and all that stuff. So I'm not saying anything against that. But what I am saying is, you gotta be careful. You have to be careful. And I feel like in conjunction with the Time's Up and Me Too movement, we need to be talking to everybody and saying, yes, do not allow someone to violate you, right? But I'm saying, don't put yourself in compromising positions. And also, don't give anybody that kind of power over you. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, and I'm gonna say it, I feel like a lot of people, you know, 30 years later, here they are coming out with these stories, and it's tragic. Like, imagine holding on to something for 30 years. Right? The level of pain, the guilt, the things you might have had to do for all of this time to suppress those feelings, maybe self-medicate or whatever, you know, don't put yourself in compromising situations. We have something called instinct, a conscience, and if it bothers us, don't go against the grain. Like, a lot of people that are now coming out and talking about these whole sexual allegations, I feel like they value their careers a little bit more than the acts that were done to them. And I know that sounds crazy. And you guys have probably thought about it too, but no one's saying it. No one's saying, it's touchy. It's touchy because, again, no, what the men did were wrong. But anyone that was violated, you should have spoken up sooner. And I know that it seems cliche to say, because you could say, oh, well, it didn't happen to you. You don't know how you'll react to a situation like that. Yeah, but all the people that are coming forward now are like, you know, they have a notoriety in sense, or they're like now celebrities, they're stars, people know their name. Let's think about all of the young up-and-coming talent, actresses, dancers, singers, and all that stuff, you know, models, because this is not just across one industry. This is like the entertainment industry in general, and the way that it's set up, it is such a ripe field for things like this to happen, especially because they thrive on youth. You know, all people in power are older, but all the actors and actresses and any talent that's coming up is young and impressionable. And so these older men do exert power over them, you know, but it's just kind of the hierarchy. So the structure has to change as well. That's another thing that needs to be augmented as far as the industry is concerned again. But I want to get back to the point of the women and the men, you know, holding on to these things for so long, not coming forward. And I say that because so many young talent did not rise to the top, like the people who have come out now. They did not rise to the top. We don't know their names. We'll probably never know their names or know who they are or know their stories. And so I feel like I'm glad that, people are speaking out about it now. We have a whole movement behind it. We're serious about really eradicating this kind of filth that's running rampant throughout the industry. But I just want to say to women and men out there that you guys have to protect yourself. You have to value you as a person first, before anything, before your career, any of that. Value you first. Because I think that once we do that, and I'm not saying these people didn't really value themselves, so please don't mistake me, but I'm saying that there's a sense of, there are things that we hold in higher regards, like we want money, we want careers, we want success, and those things are great. But then we also compromise. We also put ourselves in compromising positions in order to gain those things. So again, 100% on board with the Me Too Time's Up movement, but I also just want to send a message out there to say, moving forward, no longer put yourself in compromising situations. So with this Aziz Ansari thing, whether it was a date gone bad or a young woman that felt violated, that's really neither here nor there. The point of the matter is she didn't trust her instinct. She felt like things were going a little off, and she still decided to go to his apartment and engaged in uncomfortable acts according to her. And so, ladies and gentlemen, protect yourselves at all costs. The PopTalk has come to an end, but our time together doesn't have to end, because you should subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with all the things that I'm talking about. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you guys later. Until next time, darlings. Ciao.